Well, hey there, and welcome to Board to Learn, the channel dedicated to helping you learn how to play your new games faster. I'm Kent, and today we're looking at Honeypot, a clever set collection game for 1 to 6 players. So, meet me at the table, and we'll get started. In Honeypot, you take on the role of secret agent bears, competing to collect the most valuable intelligence and spy supplies. Throughout the game, you'll secretly build caches of cards for other players to search through, while you explore the caches they've prepared for you. As you uncover each pair of cards, you'll decide whether to keep what you've found or continue digging in hopes of discovering even greater treasures. But be careful, the next pair might not contain the prize you were hoping for. It could instead reveal an unwelcome swarm of bees. After 5 rounds, the player who has assembled the most valuable collection wins. To set up, have each player choose a character, then take the matching character identity card and secret cache folder, along with 2 swiping tokens, and place them in front of you. Place the remaining swiping tokens in the middle of the table, then place the bees token nearby. Next, shuffle the yellow round bonus cards, randomly draw 5 of them and place them in the middle of the table, with the Honeypot side face up. Return the remaining round bonus cards to the box. Now shuffle all of the Honeypot cards. This is a fairly large deck, so be sure to give it a thorough shuffle before placing it face down in the middle of the table as the draw deck. Finally, choose a starting player at random and give them the rotation marker. Place it with the clockwise side face up for the first round. And with that, the setup is complete. Honeypot is played over 5 rounds, and each round follows the same basic flow. At the beginning of each round, every player draws 6 cards from the deck in player order. Once everyone has drawn their cards, all players will simultaneously arrange those 6 cards into a secret cache in any order they choose. When you're happy with the arrangement, place the cards into your secret cache folder and pass it to the player on your left. In future rounds, simply follow the directions shown on the turn rotation marker when passing your folder. Now it's time to reveal the secret cache you've been given. Starting with the first player and continuing in the direction of the turn rotation marker, each player takes a turn opening the cache they received. Without looking through or rearranging the cards, reveal the top 2 cards. You can either keep those cards and end your turn, or discard them and reveal the next 2. After revealing the second pair, you'll make that same decision again. If you discard the second pair, you must keep the final 2 cards remaining in the folder. If a player chooses to keep the very first pair of cards they reveal, they'll also create an opportunity for another player to swipe the remaining cards from the secret cache. We'll cover exactly how swiping works a little later. Before we continue, let's take a look at the different types of cards you'll find throughout the game. First, let's take a quick look at the anatomy of a card. In the upper left corner, you'll find the icon identifying the card's type. Along the bottom, you'll either see the point value for scoring cards or a description of an action card's effect. Some cards will also have a ruby printed in the upper right corner. We'll come back to those in just a moment. The cards in Honeypot fall into 2 categories: action cards and scoring cards. If you choose to keep an action card, it resolves immediately and is then discarded. Scoring cards remain face up in front of you until the end of the game, where they'll be worth points based on the cards you've collected. There are 3 different action cards: Blind Swap, Dead Drop, and Decoder. Blind Swap lets you discard 1 card you've already collected, then draw and reveal the top card of the Honeypot deck to keep. If Blind Swap is the first card you collect, the order of operations does not require you to discard the second card you're gaining this turn. Instead, simply draw and reveal a new card from the Honeypot deck and add it to your collection. The Dead Drop card lets you draw and reveal the top 2 cards of the Honeypot deck, and keep them both. The Decoder card simply lets you gain 1 swiping token from the supply. If the supply ever runs out, use another object as a reminder, since swiping tokens are not intended to be limited. If an action card causes you to draw additional action cards from the Honeypot deck, immediately resolve any action cards you draw. If multiple action cards are drawn at the same time, such as with Dead Drop, you may resolve them in any order. The remaining cards are all scoring cards. Good intel cards are worth the number of points shown in the upper left corner next to the card's icon. They are valued at 1, 2, and 3. If you collect good intel cards with each of those values, you complete a set and score an additional 3 bonus points. Bad intel cards subtract the number of points shown in the upper left corner next to the card's icon. Completing a set of -1, 2, and 3 bad intel cards immediately removes all 3 cards from your collection. Discard each completed set to the discard pile. Codebooks score by collecting matching pairs. Every pair of matching codebooks is worth 7 points. Disguises score by creating unique sets of 5. Disguises are labeled A through E, along with the wild disguise marked with a question mark that can represent any disguise you need. The more unique disguises you collect in a set, the more points that set is worth. If you collect duplicate disguises, begin a new set. Berries become more valuable the more you collect. However, collecting a 5th berry causes the entire set to be worth 0 points. If you collect more than 5 berries, simply begin a new set. Also, remember that berries are never discarded, and any rubies shown on them still count toward ruby scoring at the end of the game. Honey dippers work in the opposite way. The fewer honey dippers you collect in a set, the more points they're worth. However, collecting a 3rd honey dipper causes that entire set to be worth 0 points. If you collect more than 3 honey dippers, simply begin a new set. Honeycombs are worth 3 points each, but they also interact with the bees token. Whenever you collect a honeycomb, immediately take the bees token and place it in front of you. This can either be from the center of the table or another player. We'll explain why you want to avoid holding that token a little later, but looking at it, I think you can probably guess why. Finally, there are 3 neighbor scoring cards: Wiretap, Spy Camera, and Berry Jammer. These all score the same way, but for different card types. Wiretap scores using good intel cards. Spy Camera scores using disguises, and Berry Jammer scores using berries. At the end of the game, compare the player on your left with the player on your right. Whichever player has collected more of the matching card type is the player you'll score from. Score 1 point for each matching card that player collected. If you collected multiple neighbor scoring cards, score each one individually. Finally, some cards have a ruby icon in the upper right corner. Rubies don't have any effect during the game, but they can award bonus points at the end if you've collected the most. We'll explain exactly how ruby scoring works during final scoring. One quick note, if you're curious about card distribution, the back page of the rulebook breaks down exactly how many of each card is included in the deck. It also shows how many rubies can be found throughout the game. Now that you know what all the different cards do, let's jump back into the flow of the game and take a closer look at how each round is played. Begin each round with players drawing 6 cards from the Honeypot deck in player order. Once everyone has drawn their cards, they simultaneously decide the order of those 6 cards to create their secret cache. The order in which you arrange your cards is completely up to you, and deciding that order is one of the biggest strategic decisions in the game. Arrange the cards into 3 pairs. Remember, the first pair of cards you place will be the first pair your opponent reveals. So think carefully about the order when building your cache. Do you tempt them with strong cards right away, hide the best rewards deeper in the cache, or try to lure them into playing it safe? Once you're satisfied with your arrangement, place the cards into your secret cache folder, making sure the first pair to be revealed is on top. Then pass your secret cache to the next player in the direction shown on the turn rotation marker. When everyone has passed their secret cache, it's time to start revealing them. When you receive a secret cache from another player, it's important that you don't look through the cards or rearrange them in any way. Play now continues one player at a time, starting with the player who has the turn rotation marker, and continuing in the direction shown on the marker. On your turn, open the secret cache folder and reveal only the top 2 cards. After looking at those cards, you'll decide whether to keep them or continue digging deeper into the secret cache. If you'd rather press your luck, discard those 2 cards and reveal the next pair. Once again, you'll make the same decision. You can keep the pair or discard it to reveal the final 2 cards. If you choose to discard the second pair, you must keep the final 2 cards remaining in the secret cache. Once you've decided which pair to keep, move those cards in front of you to create your tableau. Scoring cards remain face up in your tableau for the rest of the game, while any action cards are resolved immediately and then discarded. Your turn is now complete. If you choose to keep the first or second pair of cards from the secret cache, this will present an optional action for the other players. Rather than simply discarding the remaining cards, the next player in turn order who has a swiping token may choose to spend it to swipe the remaining cards from the secret cache. If they decide not to, the opportunity passes to the next player in turn order who has a swiping token. One important note, the player who created the secret cache cannot perform the swiping action. When you swipe, act as though it is your reveal turn by revealing the next pair, then decide whether to keep them or continue digging deeper into the secret cache. If only one pair remains, you must keep it. If you keep the first pair while swiping and there are still cards left in the secret cache, the next player in turn order with a swiping token may choose to swipe those remaining cards as well. This continues until there are no cards left or every eligible player has passed. Once all swiping opportunities have been resolved, reveal any cards still left in the secret cache to all players before discarding them. Play then continues with the next player's turn. Remember, swiping is always optional. It doesn't change the normal flow of the game. It simply gives players the opportunity to collect cards that would have otherwise been discarded. In a two-player game, swiping works differently. Since your opponent assembled the secret cache and already knows what's inside, they are never allowed to swipe it. Instead, if you keep the first or second pair of cards from the secret cache, you may spend one of your own swiping tokens to continue your turn and reveal the remaining cards yourself. If you once again stop after the first pair, you may even spend a second swiping token to continue one final time, allowing you to collect all 6 cards from the secret cache if you choose. Once all players have taken their turns revealing the secret cache and all swiping opportunities have been resolved, the round comes to an end. Now it's time to see who gets the round's bonus card. Each player adds together the negative point values from the bad intel cards in their tableau. Don't include the B's token when doing this. The player with the most negative points gets to choose one of the face-down round bonus cards and reveal it. Round bonus cards are essentially honeypot cards in disguise. If a card has an immediate effect, resolve it now. Otherwise, place it face up in your tableau with your other scoring cards. If there's a tie for the most negative points, the tied player with the most bad intel cards gets to choose the round bonus card. If there's still a tie, or if nobody has any negative points, randomly remove one of the face-down round bonus cards from the game without revealing it. Once the round bonus card has been resolved, everyone takes back their own secret cache folder, then pass the turn rotation marker clockwise to the next player and flip it over to the opposite side. This player becomes the new first player, and the secret cache folders will once again be passed in the direction shown on the marker. Continue playing in this manner until all 5 rounds have been completed. Then it's time for final scoring. Pull out a pencil and paper for this one. Start by scoring your good intel cards using the point values shown on each card. If you collected one of each of the 1, 2, and 3 good intel cards, score the additional 3-point bonus for that complete set. You can score this bonus multiple times if you collected multiple complete sets. Next, score your bad intel cards using the negative point values shown on each card. Any complete set of the negative 1, 2, and 3 bad intel cards would have already been discarded during the game, so they won't be included in your final score. Codebooks only score in pairs. Each complete pair is worth 7 points, while any unpaired codebooks are worth nothing. Now, score your sets of disguises. Remember, wild disguise cards can represent any disguise of your choice to help complete a set, and duplicate disguises will start a new set. Next, score your sets of berries. Remember, if you have 5, you have to take the 0. If you collected more than 5, begin a new set. Score for the number of honey dipper cards you have. If you have 3, you score 0. More than 3 starts a new set. Each honeycomb is worth 3 points. If you finish the game holding the B's token, you lose 7 points. Next, score each of your neighbor's scoring cards individually. Compare the matching card type between the player on your left and the player on your right. Whichever player collected more of that card type is the player you'll score from. Score 1 point for each matching card that player collected. Then repeat this process for each neighbor scoring card in your tableau. Now count your rubies and compare totals between all players. The player with the most gets 6 points, second 4 points, and third 2 points. In a 2-player game, first place gets 6 points, and the other player gets 2, if they have at least 1 ruby. If there's a tie, combine the points for the tied positions, divide them evenly, and round up. Finally, score 2 points for each swiping token you have remaining. Add together all your points. The player with the highest score wins. If there's a tie, the tied player with the most rubies wins. If there's still a tie, share the victory. And that's how to play Honeypot. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and consider subscribing to learn even more great games. Turn the bell on to be notified of my latest videos. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments and I'll do my best to answer them. And remember, it's not just how you play, it's how much fun you have. I'll see you next time on Board to Learn. One quick note, if you're curious about the card distribution, the back of the page, it could instead reveal an unwelcome My mouth isn't working today. Did you get that?
I did.